God bless you. My name is Pastor Harris Kakoulides, and today we want to find out what does Jesus means when he refers to himself as the Son of God. What does that mean? Many people like to say Jesus is the Son of God and not God, but this only shows that they don't know what the meaning Son of God means. By stating he was the Son of God, Jesus was saying that he was God. For this is what was understood by the statement of the people who heard him. Let's go to John 5, verses 17 and 18. Jesus said, "But Jesus answered them, saying, My Father works hereto, and I work." Therefore, the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only broken the Sabbath, but he said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. John 10, verses 32 and 33 says, Jesus answered them, saying, Many good works have I showed you from my Father. For which of those works do you stone me? The Jews answered him, saying, For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, because thou being a man, you make yourself God. The Jews understood clearly what Jesus meant by calling himself the Son of God. But other examples are as follows. When the Bible refers to the sons of the prophets, it meant prophets. So likewise, when the Son of God coming out of Jesus' lips, Jesus referring himself as the Son of God, he was referring to himself as God. We're going to look at some examples of that. We're going to look at one example of that in 1 Kings chapter 20, verses 35 to 41. And I want you to notice what I'm going to tell you when we read it. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said unto his neighbor, In the word of the Lord, smite me, I pray thee. And the man refused to smite him. Notice in verse 35, it was one of the sons of the prophets. In verses 36 to 37 we read, Then said he unto him, Because thou hast not obeyed the voice of the Lord, behold, as soon as thou depart from me, a lion shall slay thee. And as soon as he was departed from him, a lion found him and slew him. So wait a minute. This man that was a son of the prophets, was one of the sons of the prophets, he prophesied. Does that make him a prophet? Yes, it does. We continue in verse 37. It says, Then he found another man and said, Smite me, I pray thee. And the man smote him, he hit him, so that in smiting he wounded him. Now in verses 38 we read, So the prophet departed. So a son of the prophet is also a prophet. Verses 38, we read, So the prophet departed and waited for the king by the way, and distinguished himself with ashes upon his face. And as the king passed by, he cried unto the king, and he said, Thy servant went out into the midst of the battle, and behold, a man turned aside, and brought a man unto him, and said, Keep this man, if by any means he be missing, then shall thy life be for his life, or else thou shalt pay a talent of silver. And as soon as thy servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said unto him, So shall thy judgment be, thyself hast decided it. And he hasted, and he took the ashes away from his face. And the king of Israel discerned that he was of the prophets. So I want you to notice that it starts off in verses 35 referring to the sons of the prophets. In verses 38 it calls him a prophet. And in verses 41 the king noticed that he was one of the prophets. So when a person was referred to the son of something, it was referred that he had the same authority as that person, and he had the same power as that person. So Jesus referring himself as the Son of God referring the Father, God the Father, referring to his Father, he was referring himself to be God as well. The Jews understood this. That's why the Jews took stones to stone Jesus. That's what the Son of God means. But you may say, we are called the sons or children of God. Does that make us God? No, because we are the children or the sons of God through adoption. Ephesians chapter 1 verse 5. But Jesus was always the Son of God by right. Firstborn inheritance belongs to him. Colossians 1 verse 15. Through Jesus we are put in the family of God. But God remains the same, 3 in 1. Not 3 in 1 plus the church. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm sure you do. Jesus is the second person of the Holy Trinity. God bless you. My name is Pastor Harris Kakoulides, and you was watching here in the program, Getting to Know Jesus.